Evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time it is. I hope you're all doing well. This is Peter from MNN, and I am here with you July 7th. My dog is walking over. Hi there, Suho. And this weekend, I actually had a little time to rest, so I rested a lot. For those who have been following, I had my uh, sprained ankle, and it's been that way for a while. I went back one more time. The guy said it's fine. I said I have a bump. He said it'll go away on its own. So I'm hoping that'll be the case. But anyhow, this has been what? I think it's week 16 now. It's really hard to say specifically. At this point now, I'm losing track because I've been here since March 18th and a lot of shows. But why specifically did I decide to review these two bands, these two albums, these two shows? And I want to relay all of that good stuff because I feel that it's worth it. It's definitely something that needs to be talked about. Good morning, David. How are you? So let's cut to the chase. So last week it was July 29th, Saturday, and I had one specific show that I had meant to attend, and that was Bridear. Their live show was titled The Ascension, and this was at Daikanyama unit. Around, gosh, where was it? I'm trying to think if it was roughly around Shibuya area. It was south of Shinjuku. So the album itself, if you guys don't know, Bridear has a new album called Born Again that is out. It dropped on July 28th. Good morning. Hey, Charles. And goodness, I was really excited for this album. If you guys have seen the MV single that dropped a little while ago called Still Burning, it goes so hard and so heavy. The video itself feels like it was shot for IMAX. The sound, doubly so. It really is amplified. Whatever Bridear is, was, will be. It was Good Morning, Hey, J Music. It was amplified, magnified, way beyond. It is definitely worth it. It is definitely worth it. It is very much, hey Eddie, it's very much an album worth checking out for those of you who haven't. So for those of you who have seen the music video for Still Burning, it's interesting because the title of the album is called Born Again. The single that dropped is called Still Burning, and it really encapsulates, I think, what the Bridear girls are aiming for. And for those who do not know, there is also a world tour that has been announced, which includes supporting Dream Evil, and that is starting at the end of October. That's so for those who are in Australia, you guys will be able to get to see Bridear. They'll also be in the UK. I'm sure other parts of Europe as well. They'll be going back after years to the US, I believe Canada dates as well, but those have not dropped. So it's all very exciting. And I think even more so when you consider the material, the new material. Now, I don't know how many of you have been long-term Bridear fans. You know, some of you know my story. Yeah, it's an amazing song. It's an amazing song. So some of you know my story that I came to Japan in 2018 and I discovered Bandmate and it kind of took over like just a lot of my life. A lot of my life. Sorry, that's my fizzy. But along the way, there were bands, there were songs. For me, I feel like at that time, Bridear Ignite, which is still today one of probably the staple song for Bridear. If you listen to any of their shows, it's almost guaranteed that they'll do that because they know it's a crowd pleaser. They know everybody goes nuts for it. And, I had seen Bridear only for the first time last year in January. And that was an exceptional, unusual experience because, it was what, fans, maybe 30 to 35 people. Fans went up on stage, they played with the band. Um, they, I'm not sure if it was the first time that Moe was playing on stage with them, but it was definitely one of the first times. Um, and Brightier has gone through, um, you know, changes with their members. But I think Moe has definitely entrenched herself very well as a songwriter and guitarist for the band, and you see it more. I mean, you actually saw it with um, you saw it with Eyes of Doubt, which was released. Man, was it a year? Yeah, it was a year ago. This was back in March. It's funny because it released roughly around the same time as Hades with Bring It On. And I remember I loved both songs. Um, but yeah, Eyes of Doubt was written by Moe with lyrics by Kimi. More often than not, the lyrics are by Kimi, but every now and then you have Ayumi writing lyrics as well. And this latest offering, which I have up here. So let me show you probably one of my favorite pictures ever with a band. I've taken a lot of photos with bands over the past year and a half, but I still love showing this picture off. It still means a lot to me, and it still captures, I think, I don't know. Is it arrogance? What is it? It made me really happy to see these girls. Um, I was very happy to see them, very happy to hear them. And since last year, January, I've seen them 4 times. One, two, three, four, and I believe this time at Dakanyamine was my fifth. Let's see, one, two, three, four. Yeah, this time was my fifth. And I couldn't miss it. I absolutely could not miss it. And the funny thing, and this is gonna go a little bit back and forth with Bridear and with Gungire, because Gungire is also a band that I discovered a lot more recently, but I fell in love with as well, particularly with just the energy and just the electricity of the vocals of Nana. But I had meant to meet up with our good friend Ryan Meir, and this was, God, Ryan Meir, this was a couple months back, and it was like, oh, he's coming to see some bandmate shows, and it was just, I wonder if we can get together to see a show together. Um, and so we were aiming initially towards the Gungire show because Dragdown was also playing. For those of you who follow Ryan as well, you know that Dragdown is just a favorite of his. They just hit so hard and so heavy. It's like the apocalypse coming upon you, but it's a good apocalypse. um, but for me, I was just like, oh, but Bridear, this is going to be the release of their album. They're gonna have a concert, and I know they're gonna be playing new songs. It's been such a long time. The last time I saw Bridear was back in December in Osaka, and I really needed to see them. So I did that, bought my ticket, and then it turned out that the time, it was an early show, which ended like around 7, because the show started roughly around 5:30, and then it ended a little bit past 7 because they only did 16 songs that night. And I was like, okay, I told Nana because I had met her a few weeks prior at Yuri's birthday, bassist for Hades, and I told her I really want to go. I don't know if I can, but it turned out that Gungire was playing late at night. I believe their stage was at 9. So it all worked out, and I was able to attend both shows. I absolutely adored the show with Bridear, and I absolutely was head over heels with seeing Gungire for the first time. Now, let's go into the shows because that I can speak a bit more extemporaneously. Not really worried too much about like the songs themselves, the production and whatnot. It's a bit easier to talk about. So let's start off with Bridear at Daikanyama Unit. Um, I was running late. I had actually forgotten my ticket, and a good friend of mine, Richard Hogan, said that he actually had an extra ticket for me, which he thought I knew about. And it turned out to be at the rail, so that worked out very well. But there was a lot of sweating, a lot of rushing, a lot of foot pain, but I made it in time, got to the rail. I was standing directly in front of the subwoofers on Ayumi's side. And so if you look at any picture from that show, you will see, again, if you know these people, there's Richard Hogan, there's Michael Barber, and then there's me. And I'm directly in front of these subwoofers. And that definitely affected my experience of the show. But let's just get into it with the show itself. Bridear has definitely come back with a vengeance. They have definitely been eating their spinach. They've been working out. They have set a goal for themselves, and they have really beefed up everything about Bridear and what they hope to do and accomplish as a band and beyond. Because again, they're now not only having released this album and having recorded it in Sweden, but their world tour, their very first world tour ever, to go to these different countries. So it's very exciting, and it's definitely, I think, I don't want to say it's a crossroads. It's not like they'll ever stop, but it's something. It's the biggest step that I've seen them take since I've known them. And it's awesome. It's awesome because they are really attempting to make themselves known globally. Musically, that's what they attempt to do with the album. And the show itself was incredible. I mean, I'll start off by saying that being in front, hey, what's going on, Mark? Being in front of the subwoofers and having the kick drum mic'd. Even without that, even without being in front of the subwoofers, Natsumi's playing has, I mean, it's really multiplied in terms of the power and the attitude and just that oomph that she's placed. She's been practicing a lot. She's really just put herself through the grind to be a better drummer, to be, to put more heft into what she does. And again, even the album itself, the most recent album, they've gone for heavy, they've gone for heft, they've gone for something that I don't think they've quite done in this way. So, but being in front of the subwoofers, I mean, I was getting a lot of air. Every time that kick pedal was going down, I mean, and it was going down a lot, I got a lot. I got a lot of air. So, I had a fantastic time. The girls really did something incredible with, yeah, with this. They played 4 songs off of the new album. They played Still Burning, which was obviously expected. I wasn't sure how many other of their new songs that they would actually put out. But they had Still Burning, then they had, oh goodness. They did Scar Reunion, they did Born Again, which arguably it's my favorite. Although I really do love most of the songs. There are a couple which I prefer a little bit less, but overall, I mean, it's an incredible album, like from top to bottom, front to back. And so, really, yeah, we'll see what happens with that as to when it'll be released. But yeah, I mean, East Coast, West Coast, hopefully they hit up all the main spots that you guys can go out and see them. And again, especially with this new stuff, I think with Bridear, they've always been sort of almost someone described them as a mix or a blend of metal and J-pop. But J-pop is a specific kind of pop, a specific kind of production and melody. So I would say it was more. Bridear has kind of developed this sort of pop metal, especially with Kimmy's vocals. They don't go as hard or as deep. You do have Haru with her growls, which this time around was very Hulk-like. Every time she was growling, I just thought of the Avengers or any other movie where Hulk was just going at it. So I was so impressed, and especially for such a little girl. But she was incredible. But with Kimmy's vocals, the melodies, the way that she executes, the way that she delivers, it's not. I mean, I love it. I love her vocals, and I don't think there's anybody else that sounds like her. But it doesn't make you think metal initially. I think she's definitely a bit more in rock and in pop with how she delivers things. But it works so well with Bridear and what they've done thus far. And on this album, you can tell that she was pushing a little bit more, trying to give a little bit more. Um, yeah, just go a little bit deeper, just go a little bit harder. Um, there are songs on here. Well, let me just show you the tracks. So there's 10 songs. There's Still Burning, Braver Words, Born Again, Cult, Empty Mind, Scar Reunion, Real is Real, Fight It Down, No Angels, and Die Like This. And for me, the first 5 songs, just back to back to back to back to back, are incredible. Like, I could listen to those songs over and over again. Scar Reunion is, I would say, it's the more Japanese of the tracks. Melodically, it feels a lot more like J metal, like old school J metal. And if that was the intent, they did it very well. But Real is Real goes really hard and heavy. Yeah, Fight It Down, No Angels, Die Like This. The last track is Kimmy shares vocals with the singer of Dream Evil. Is it Nick? Is it Nick Knight? I don't really. No, I usually do remember, but yeah, Nick Knight of Dream Evil. And although the first time I heard him sing, it didn't quite work, and it still, for some reason, it's still his vocals don't totally work for me in the beginning, but when he sings through the rest of the song and as they're harmonizing together, it works well. It fits a lot better. So, yeah, I feel like there are better matches, but yeah. I mean, the whole album is, I feel like it's an homage. It's an homage. It's a way of just showing respect to all that's gone before. If you guys know the Sukiyaki sisters, you have Ayumi and then you have Moe, and as double guitars, they've done a lot of YouTube videos and shorts where they're playing different songs, different styles, whether it be old school hair metal, like death. Did they have death metal? They had Nordic. They had a whole different types of metal that they were playing, and I feel like they carried that into their production, into their songwriting. And so when you listen to the songs, there's definitely a lot of different styles of metal, but it's still metal. And they definitely worked really hard to put the heavy into that. So more than other stuff that they've been doing. So if you listen to their previous stuff, hold on one second here. Bridear. Yeah. So, Aegis of Athena was great. They definitely went more prog with that. They definitely delved into a lot of. Like, I love that album, and they tried a lot of different things, and it felt almost how do you, they tried different stuff. One of my favorite tracks, not only off of the album but from Bridear and just in general, um, is actually Brave New World Revisited. I love what they do with that, the journey that they take me on, emotionally, melodically, just sonically, what they've done. It's incredible stuff. Exposure Emotions is also great, I agree. But if you listen to any of their previous stuff, hi Arthur, how are you? If you listen to their previous stuff, for the past few years and Born Again, you can see they sort of returned to the roots, trying to go as heavy as it did with Barrett. Um, Kind of like Conqueror. It's tough. I mean, Conqueror from Bandmate, Conqueror, I feel, went a lot more into different areas, even beyond just rock and going into pop. A song like Page, at the drop of a hat. At the drop of the hat. I never, I never remember the title exactly. But all of those songs, I mean, they don't. Um, yeah, I feel like it's a bit more explorative than I think Aegis of Athena. But let's see if I can play a little bit. If you can hear that. This is just playing off my Mac Mini speakers, so it's crap. Here's what I wanted to say, going back into this album and Bridear in general. I think Bridear is one of the most versatile bands out there. And the reason being is that they have a lot of arsenal at their disposal. And what I mean by that is you have the main vocals, Kimi, but you also have Death Voice from Haru, but you also have backing vocals from Ayumi. And Ayumi herself, from what I hear, what I've heard, I mean, she's got great vocals, and I do wish I could hear more of her vocals just on her own, because I think it's great stuff. But you not only have the ability to have harmonies along with the Death Voice live and on album, but then you also have the two guitars who can play off of each other. And that offers a lot of combinations, which not every band can do. You have that with Natsumi, who's become just an incredible drummer. Her style is so different from when she was with Teleside, but with Bridear, really digging deep. If you guys had heard or seen, last month for her birthday, she did a tribute show to Rainbow for her birthday, the whole thing. Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's what I really do like about Bridear is that they're not afraid to experiment and to try stuff out and to go to places they haven't yet. They're they formed in 2012 in Fukuoka, so it's been 13 years, and despite those 13 years, maybe it is because of the personnel change with different songwriters. Even though Kimi does write, Ayumi also writes, Moe also writes. Thanks. You also have Haru who wrote a song. So let me actually break down who did what. So Still Burning, the music was by Moe, lyrics for Kimi. I'm just gonna say this. The lyrics are by Kimi unless noted otherwise. So Still Burning, music by Moe. Braver Words, music by Ayumi. Born Again, music and lyrics by Ayumi. Cult, both music and lyrics by Kimi. Empty Mind, both music and lyrics by Ayumi. Scar Reunion, both music and lyrics by Kimi. Real is Real, music by Ayumi. Fight It Down, music by Moe. No Angels, music by Haru. And then Die Like This, music by Moe. So, you have, since we are MNN, Made News Network, if you have a band like Bandmate, where all of the music is primarily composed by Kanami, and then you have lyrics who are mostly um, by Miku, and then now slowly, bit by bit, you have Psyche as well. Um, there's more of a singular voice, and even though your voice can be varied, it it still retains a certain quality that's still very much you. That's very much Konami. But the fact that you have five, because Natsumi also writes, you have five different songwriters, and on this album you have four. And then lyrically, you have Kimi and you have Ayumi. I mean, it delves and it goes really. I just feel like there's such a talented band, and they're definitely overlooked a lot. Um, whatever the reason may be, I know that I love them personally as a band. I think Bridear has so much talent. Um, they're so skilled. And with this album, I couldn't stop gushing on Twitter, really just telling, um, yeah, really just telling everyone from Bridear, and particularly Ayumi, because she wrote two of my favorite songs on this album. Again, although I do love like most of it, but she wrote Born Again, lyrics and music, and Empty Mind, lyrics and music, and just really just blown away. Beautiful stuff lyrically, melodically, just blown away. And again, I don't know how well you'll be able to hear this, but this is the song Born Again. If you haven't, you guys can check on YouTube, because they do have their songs available from YouTube Music. Oh, Ayumi, totally, like she's incredible. She's so talented. Like, even though I think Moe and Ayumi have done incredible work, both of them, for Bridear, Ayumi has a little bit more humor and attitude and sass, which she brings into her playing, and into her songwriting. There's that personality that comes out. So, but let me play a little bit of Born Again. I don't know how well you can hear this. You gotta hear it yourself. So it goes pretty hard and heavy. And I thought, okay, I dig it. I love it. Still a great melody though. And then when it got to the chorus, and the thing is, I don't even know if I want to play the chorus for you because I don't want to spoil it for those who haven't heard it yet. But it's beautiful and very unexpected. Like, I know for me when a song is good to me, when I am moved, like the moment I hear it, like I want to cry. Like it just, I have always been sort of a melody monger. Um, yeah, no, very much so. The melodies are incredible. Like the melodies and harmonies, it's so sweet. Just, um, and again, just I feel like lyrically, it's just really great stuff. Um, but it's God, yeah, just check it out. It's on YouTube. I'm sure it's on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever else, whatever your streaming service is. But listen to Born Again. Um, and for me, I tend to favor melody over death voice. I grew up much more um, in that area. I mean, I grew up with pop, I grew up with rock, and any other number of genres. Um, but I never went too hard into like the growls, fried, death, whatever you want to call it. But their melodies are gorgeous, and because you have Kimmy singing them, there's a difference. It's not only the fact that they have gorgeous melodies, but that Kimmy sings it in the way that she delivers the way that she does. Like there's this. The only way that I can explain it is that there are certain instruments like the oboe or the French horn or the cello. There's a tone and color to these instruments that just hit me really like in my heart. And that's how I feel with Kimmy's vocals. There's a sweetness, there's this like yearning, aching, and I've always loved that about vocalists who can deliver that and expose themselves in that way. Um, but let's see. Yeah, it's interesting. So it goes into this line for the chorus: "All must end here, all must change here. Grief and anguish make it all go away. All must end here, all must change here. Grief and anguish make it all go away." Um, Towards the end, "I'll start again here. I need it. Let's remake ourselves again. It must be right. We are born again." And if you listen to how heavy and yet how soft, like there's definitely a yin yang quality to this song. There's a hard and soft quality to the song, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful the way that it's delivered, the way that it's produced. Um, and most of the songs go pretty hard, like all the way through, like all the way through. But Born Again has that, and then Empty Mind as well. And Empty Mind is a song that really it moves me. And then today, I think in the morning, I was listening and I really related to the lyrics. And I told Ayumi on Twitter, like, yeah, I mean, this song made me cry. Like, it really moved me. Um, and I love it when a song can do that. I think different different ears hear different things, and different souls are moved in different ways. But I know for me, I absolutely love it. I think more than anything, I love it when a melody or a lyric connects with me in a way that I can relate, and it goes deep. Yeah, that's how I felt with Empty Mind. So it's really, I think it's a beautiful song. Both of those, again, lyrics and music by Ayumi. So even with solos, if you listen to Ayumi's solos, like man, she's good. She does some sweet stuff, but her and Moe together. Um, so all that I could think, all that the people with me could think when they were at the show together. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the MV to Cult. I would definitely have preferred a performance video. Um, I'll take seeing the girls perform over any, yeah, animation. And I know there's art involved. There's the desire to express themselves in a different way artistically, and I get that. So, nothing against that. But as far as preference, I hear you. Because Cult itself is a great song too. Like I think that's an incredible song as well. So it's yeah. Um, I remember Ayumi was sharing on her um, yeah, Metal was a miss. I'm not gonna get into that since that's not what we're talking about. With Ayumi on her Instagram when she was sharing that she really put her soul into this album. So songs that she had written and lyrics that she had written for, as well as arrangements, doing music for the songs. So to me, even though all of them have really leveled up musically, and as I was saying, like at the actual show, like we were just saying, like man, they've all just really gone taken to the next level. They've really stepped it up. Just how hard um, hitting, especially Natsumi, man. I mean, goodness, like on drums, she was. Because I saw her play, a few times previously, but this time around, it was incredible. She did such a great job, such a great job. But seeing Ayumi, like she was right there, doing her solo work and her vocal work, with Kimi and then Haru and Moe. They were still a bit down for me to see, but I mean, all of them and overall is incredible. I was so happy to hear Brave New World revisited from them. They did Starlight, which I think is a gorgeous, gorgeous ballad. And just that last little thing, it almost sounds like harmonics with guitar, like just like little raindrops just dropping. Beautiful stuff. Um, so yeah, Brave New World revisited, Starlight, of course Ignite. They did school, determination. Um, what else was it? Yeah, Starlight is incredible. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Is it her best? I don't know. Like, there's so much. I have to like go through Bridear's catalog, I think, more and just take my time to really get into it. So, but and the thing that I kept on thinking is that with this album and with Bridear in general, they're definitely they're definitely artists, they're definitely architects, they're definitely craftswomen. They take their time and they really are deliberate about how they write their music. So when you see how their songs are arranged, again, not just lyrically, musically, how the instruments are arranged, and thankfully, the way that it was produced, really allowed for everyone to shine. Um, you can see it. It's like it's beautiful. Like their songs are beautiful. There's a beauty to their songwriting, there's a craftsmanship. And if you take the time to break it apart, like it's beautiful stuff. So I cannot recommend this album enough. Um, Although I'm not always, and again, this is more me, not because the song itself isn't good, but like Scar Reunion, because it goes more into like old school J metal style, and that's never quite worked for me. I always prefer more Western sounding lyrics, melodies, not lyrics, melodies, and just instrumentation. Um, but it's still, I mean, yeah, it's still so good, all of it. Like I don't know how you could not listen to their album and not just be blown away by their work. Um, oh, and Born Again. Wait, so with Born Again, the two songs written, well, you have Fight It Down, you have Die Like This, and then you have Still Burning, um, which are all great. I don't know, man. Like I'll tell you this, it is harder to find a good songwriter than it is to find a good guitarist. Um, and I will take it to my grave and say that in order for a band to become great, to me, you gotta have great songs. No matter how talented you are instrumentally, like that doesn't work for me. But it's so good. Yeah, so good. And then the benefits that I got, because I do love Ayumi, I think she's incredible. These were two benefits I got. So two postcards of her. Um, yeah, I've mentioned this also before, but I don't know why this is, but there's no one who wears a leather jacket better than she does. Something about her frame, her attitude, the way she just carries herself. I don't know what it is, but when I see her wear a leather jacket, I'm just like, ugh. Please just beat the shit out of me. That's how I feel. Um, and it's funny because, darn it, where did I put it? Oh no, can I not find it now? So I actually got Ayumi's pick last year. I jumped at the rail, like bruised my abdomen to get her pick because it was like right behind the monitor when she threw it. And then this time around too, she threw it and then it slipped through Richard Hogan's hands, and then I picked it up and I thought, hey, I could have two of Ayumi's picks. But I gave it to him instead. And I don't know what to think of it. I don't know what to say to myself, but I don't know. Two Ayumi picks would have been nice. I don't have two of anything, although I do have a lot of like picks and sticks from various people along the way. But yeah. Um, yeah, and she loves baseball. Um, I don't know that much about her, but I think as a songwriter and composer, like I adore her. Um, yeah, there's a finesse that she has, and she has the sensibility, this musicality that you cannot just. I don't. No, I don't think so. You have it or you don't. Um, I guess she can develop it, but she's got something special. She's got a gift. Um, but everyone, I mean, I love Kimmy's vocals. Natsumi is just an absolutely incredible drummer. Um, she does some amazing stuff. You listen to Still Burning, and I mean, it just blows you away. But with Moe and with Ayumi together, the work that they're doing as songwriters and as guitarists together, like, that's really cool. Even though Moe is still shy, even though she still doesn't quite have the confidence, I think it's just a matter of time. Um, but yeah, they're really good. And Haru just, she just holds it down. I mean, that growl is like no other. Like, it's just insane. So I loved the show. Um, I wish it had been longer. I wish we had gotten more songs. But they did play songs that I love and that I'll be down for anytime, anywhere. So go check out Bridear's album. If you love it, buy it. And coming soon, somewhere near you, they'll be there. And be ready to, yeah, be ready for them because they'll be ready to kick your ass. So now this was from 5:30 to a little bit past 7. Oh, I actually also saw Lily from Little Lilith after I had left the show. I stepped out, I was looking for people, couldn't find them, waited around a little bit, was talking to somebody else. And I was like, oh, I know you. So I was like, oh, hi, Lily, how are you? What are you up to? How's the band doing? And anything coming up and whatnot. Small talk. But it seemed like she didn't really want to be noticed. Um, so it was pretty short. I said, okay, well, otsukare desu, which means, work hard, work well, and I'll see you later. Um, so that was Bridear, and then I headed up to Shinjuku so that I could go to Shinjuku Antinoch so that I could see this band, Gungire. Now, Gungire, I had been notified about, man, last year, early last year. And then when their EPs, mini albums started dropping, the first was Scattered, and then it was Surge. I was like, oh man, this is really good stuff. And I really, really like the vocals a lot. Um, the way that Nana, who also does guest singing for Fate Gear, she had a previous band called Reasterisk, and then Theo Nova. I'm not sure about that band, but I just absolutely fell in love with their vocals. And there's almost a Middle Eastern quality to the way that she sings. And I don't know if you can hear it the way that I hear it, but that's what I hear. And it does something to me. It really does something to me. And I think she's absolutely incredible. I had a chance to see them in Osaka, but this is when I was still unemployed, and this was, man, probably November, December sometime. And at that time, I just couldn't afford and excuse myself to use any money to see any shows because I didn't have any money, and people were some of you guys out there were sending me money, and it just didn't make sense that I would use it just to. Well, I did want to interview them. It wasn't purely just for entertainment, but I held off. And then I finally met Nana as she was passing out. I got this flyer from her, like from herself. as she was passing it out at the top of the stairs. And it's funny because I had actually seen her at the bottom towards the end of the show, and this is for Yuri's birthday bash. This was like May 26th. And I was like, hey, that girl behind me looks like Nana. I wonder if it is. So I got a little excited. And then when the show actually ended and I was going up the stairs, which is what you have to do for crescendo and a lot of venues in Tokyo. So I was going up, she was passing it out. She was, please come to the show. And I was like, oh, somebody was talking to her, but I was like, I need to talk to you now. And obnoxiously, I was like, or rudely, I don't know how you would say, but I was like, I don't care. This is my chance. I was like, Nana, hi, I know you. I absolutely adore you. I love your vocals. I love your lyrics. I think you are an amazing musician. She's like, really? I was like, yeah, you have no idea like how much I wanted to meet you and see you. And it was very exciting. There aren't that many musicians these days that I'm like, oh my gosh, it's him or it's her. Um, but I was so infatuated with Nana's vocals and her lyrics on Gungire songs. I was like, I really have to listen. I have to like talk to you now. I have to listen to you now. And I was finally able to go again, talk to her then. But I got to the show that day, 6/29, June 29th, from Daikanyama unit, biking about, what was it, 20 minutes? I was pretty hot, but yeah, that's something that's up to them. I mean, it's not for me to dictate or say. They'll see how that goes, and they have their reasons for not doing it. I'm in the process now. Um, Actually, I'll get to this a little bit later because I don't want to intrude upon my review of them. So I was really excited to see them, and the fact that I was able to go, and I had been messaging Nana and telling her, I think I can go to the show because we follow each other on Twitter. So I messaged her and I said, I think I can go. I should be able to make it, so I'll do my best. And she was really excited about that. I was really grateful. When I finally got there and she was there, she was like, oh, you made it. You actually made it. I was like, yes, I did. I'm so happy. And I had gotten approval from her prior about doing photos for Gangire. And they actually have an official photographer. I don't know if it's her actual name, but she goes by Saskia, Saskia, and it's the same I think on Instagram and on Twitter. And she's German, and she's a great photographer. She takes some great shots. But whenever I have the opportunity, I do try to see if I can take photos as well. Just because I want to take photos of people and bands I love. It's a thrill to do that, to be able to capture an image of someone that you, I don't know, do you look up to them? Is that the word? You respect, you admire. And again, sometimes you adore, not in a weird way. Sometimes maybe it could be like on that line. But I was there, Ryan Mir was there. The two guys who I had seen Bridear with had actually taken the train and gone there as well. And here's the cool thing. The cool thing is that I actually met Kai, the previous drummer from Bridear. So she had been drumming with them, I think, maybe 5 years, 5.5, 6, I don't know the exact range, before Natsumi came in. So that was really cool. I was like, oh my God, I totally know you. That I don't know. I don't know about doing photos for Fake Gear. Like, if you look at the credits, I'm sure it would say. But seeing Kai there, and it seemed like she's kind of like drifted quietly, into her own personal life. So I was kind of asking, like, are you doing anything? Like, any stuff going on? She's like, oh, it's just some stuff. I was like, okay. So it was a little bit awkward, as nice as it was to meet her. I didn't quite know what to say, and without seeming too intrusive. So but that was really cool. And it tied in with, me going to the Bridear show. But all I can say is that I am so glad that it worked out that I was able to go to see Gungire. You know, Ryan had said it, but being at Antinoch, it's special. You can feel the history. It looks like it has history. Even if you didn't know, didn't see photos, it just has that vibe. Um, like how many bands you love have been through there. But yeah, there was one band called Nabla 9 that played before Gangire. Wasn't quite my thing. So I just stepped out with Ryan. That's when we met Kai. We're just talking, and then talking also with Hiro Tajima from J Rock Tours, who has also done wonderful stuff. Really, just reaching out to overseas fans to get them more into like these Japanese bands. Um, yeah, and so getting down to it, I did not only get Incitement as well as the Incitement shirt, which is a size too large, if not like two sizes too large. I'm a small guy, but these were only available at the show, so I got that. I not only got Incitement, but I also got Surge, and then I also had Scattered. So these are the three mini albums from Gangire, and this is the one that dropped last week. And I don't know, it might be my favorite. It might be my favorite. There does seem to be a little bit more maturity and just work done in terms of just production and songwriting. But this is just a fantastic, fantastic album. And this is, again, an album that I cannot recommend enough. Like, these two albums I have been listening to non-stop. Um, I mean, this whole week. And it's gotten to that point. And not every album does this, even if you like an album, but not every album can keep you up at night. And you're just wondering when you're at work, like, oh man, when can I have some time to listen to this music again? Um, so this album has 5 songs. If you take a look, Incitement, Eternal Hunger, While I'm Alive, Nothing in My Hands, and Lakeside. And these are all great songs. Um, it feels a little bit more personal, just from what I've seen, from what I've heard, and lyrically. Previous albums, there was more talk. What I loved about Nana's lyrics was that with the previous two albums, she was not afraid to critique. So, critique on society, critique on just different issues that she took issue with. And Gangire itself, like, it's supposed to, they call themselves, you know, the most insanely angry band in Japan. Um, and it's funny because even though they sell themselves that way, if you look at any picture of Nana, she seems really just fun and spunky and just really lively, which carries over so well into her live show and her performance. Um, but she's got that feisty quality. She's got the twinkle in her eye, that little wink. She seems to just be able to. There's this whimsical quality to her, but there's like this really incisive, concise deliberateness to her as well. She's incredibly poetic, incredibly philosophical, and there's a depth to her that I just love. And more than any other lyricist in general, from what I've seen from just again the previous offerings, and then with this one, She has a way of delivering things lyrically that connect with me so well. It resonates a lot. And as I mentioned, like her vocals, just her delivery, like I'm not as big a fan of Death Voice as other people. It's not something that I like go out of my way to find and hear, but there's this term called prosody in music. Prosody is when the music and lyrics match up, in that when you hear a song, the melody feels right for the lyrics, and the lyrics feel right for the melody. And I feel like she does that in spades because the main songwriter is Omatsu, the guitarist, who's also, I don't know if he's the founder, but he's definitely one of them. I think he is. He had played for Fake Island before. Taichi, the bassist, has written one song from what I've seen, credited to him. Circle of Wrath, previous album. But all of the songs on Incitement have been composed by Omatsu, and he put out a demo actually. If you go to his YouTube page, his YouTube channel, he put up a couple of demos. And when you listen, you go, oh, there was actually a lot done and a lot there before it even went into Nana's hands to write the lyrics and to sing the melody. And so for me, when I listen to a song and it's always like the composer versus the lyricist, I wonder how much of the melody is from the composer and how much of it is from the lyricist. Because as you're writing, Ann Wilson, interesting. I never thought of that. I've never thought of that. I might have to go back. Yeah, for me, hmm. But for me, like when I think of lyrics and melodies, I always wonder how much has changed from what was initially made and given versus a person writing words to it and adding a beat, adding, a little bit more to their phrase versus what was initially given. Because sometimes you want to add another word. You could say this, you could say like this, you could say just like this. And so the melody does change, and that does make a difference in how you hear it and how, it hits you. But it's an incredible album. Same as Bridear, top to bottom, it's incredible stuff. And for me with this one, I do have to say that While I'm Alive just got me like right away. There's heavier stuff, and it's only 5 songs, but every song is amazing. But when I first heard While I'm Alive, and I think I listened to it on YouTube like the moment it dropped, like, midnight and on. And it reminded me a little bit of 80s synth. It made me think of Running Up That Hill, Kate Bush, Stranger Things. And this is a song where lyrically and yeah, just lyrically with the melody and with her death voice, it hits so hard and so right. It's like it's perfect. But let me play this for you a little bit, if it'll play. Apparently I maxed out the number of... okay. Then let's just play it from here. Yeah, for those who do know Bridear, I'm curious, which songs are your favorites? Like for me, Trigger is definitely a favorite. Bad Karma's great, Imperfection, Circle of Wrath, they're all great. Stir Up is awesome. Yeah. So I'm curious for those who do know Gungire, like... Alright, hold on. Let me play it off of this for you guys. Oh, from Gungire. But let me play this one for you guys. After this commercial drops, let me play it. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, just okay. You probably can't hear the synth work all that well, um, but man, it's so good. It's so good. Like this song really hits me hard. And Lakeside, the last one, like there are just certain people that move you so deeply, and I think Nana is someone like as I mentioned, I think there are different types of musicians and they have different goals. Um, and I think, for example, even with a comparison between Bridear's album Bridear and what they wanted to accomplish versus this, Bridear felt like they wanted to create this massive album that captured just heavy metal at large, um, to really hit as hard as they could, but also to craft something like very crafted, very. There's a lot of finesse to it. Uh, there's detail, there's production involved. And not to say that there isn't with Gungire, but Gungire, it feels like with their goal is just to punch you in the gut as hard as they can, um, and just make you feel like something about Gungire in general. It makes me think of Fight Club. If you guys have ever seen Fight Club or know sort of the philosophy of that, of just trying to just feel alive, to be alive, um, there's something about Gungire that's very like very tough, just like street hustling, very just concrete, you know? It's there's this very raw quality to them. Musically, you don't have like these two guitars and dueling guitars and harmonies going over, you know, you don't have like this whole chorus going on. Like it really is pretty much just Nana doing her thing, in front of Matsu's guitars and with the bassist, and they do some incredible stuff. Mm, I think it's the same with philosophers, or let's just say philosophers. I mean, or psychologists, or whatever like same people there are in any field. Is you have people who may professionally do the same thing, but approach it at different angles, and do different things with it, their take. So the only way that you'll actually be able to answer that question and to get the answer is to actually listen to Gungire. Um, and if you do that, you'll understand what the difference is. I actually don't listen that much to Hanabiye. I know they're a big thing, but they're just one of those bands that I like, but I haven't totally gotten into. I think with Gungire, it's a lot easier to get into them because lyrically, it's all in English, just about. Um, and one of the things that isn't a deterrent, which sometimes happens with other lyrics from Japanese artists that are done in English, is that, you know, you're like, oh, the grammar, the delivery. But I think Nana is one of the best at writing lyrics in English and at delivering them. Not just singing them, but delivering them. So, um, but this one does feel a lot more personal than the previous albums. Um, and I would definitely say that it connects with me a lot more personally. It makes me think actually of like Chester Bennington, like old school, not even old school, just like I think Linkin Park at large, in that with Chester Bennington and his lyrics and his writing, it was always sort of about his own personal demons. And not to say that I think Nana has all these demons, but she's very good at expressing feelings. She's very good at just uh, capturing and emoting and just really relaying what she feels and what's going on inside. And so on the one hand, it is a very personal album, but on the other, it's also this call to arms. Um, the first song is called Incitement, and it goes pretty hard. Um, that's just a commercial. So there's electronic components, synth and otherwise, uh, but just for the most part, I mean, they go pretty hard. Yeah, just a small little piece. But lyrically, um, you have here, we're made of pure insanity now. Here's the place to lean on. With inner anger we have for outcasts, stray sheep. Step right up, folks. Take a deep breath and exhale. Reality relishes misery of others. Those who bleed are weak. Let me end those days. This fucking life is about to change. I believe the wind is shifting, even if just for one moment I can see. Lightning strikes us, makes our eyes twitch, awakens us as we abandon a vague worry, and now that things are changing the worth, fly away from this crazy world. Fix this deadbeat age, we prove the world unites, even if just for a moment. As you can see, let me end those days. Just, it's just incredible lyrics. Again, very poetic. There's a lot of depth. She's extremely eloquent, and her delivery, whether she's using death voice or she's singing, it's incredible stuff. It's powerful stuff, and there are very few. Like, she's definitely, I don't know if it would be top 5 or top whatever, but she is really up there for me. And the show itself, they sang all the songs off of this, and I'm sure they've been singing these songs prior to, because that's how it goes. Like, you have these songs being introduced at the live shows, and then they're put on the album as a recording. So I don't know how long they've been singing these songs, but even though I was taking photos for them that night, it was really incredible. Like, just wow. It's just usually when I take photos, it's hard for me to stop taking photos because I just want to keep on taking good photos. But with Gungire, I mean, yeah, it really is for me. It's Nana as a front woman. Powerful stuff. The way that she delivers, the way that she just goes really deep within herself and just lays it all out there. I mean, she just lays it all out there. She just pours her heart out. It's incredible stuff. So, um, I can only recommend Gangire's music, their CDs, their live shows. I'm hoping I'll be able to go see them again soon. But yeah, man, Gungire as well. I think amazing music, even though it's more stripped down and raw compared to, say, a band like Bridear. In no way does it take away from them as a band and from their music. There's different types, right? And that's the beauty of it. So whether you're into heavy metal or into hard rock or into punk rock, I mean, it's amazing, beautiful stuff. So um, I encourage you guys, get both of these albums if you can. Can't recommend them enough. Bridear, Born Again, awesome album, awesome album. I think everything that you love about Bridear, if you do love Bridear, and you add to that just like, it sounds wrong to say that they're pumped up on steroids, because I know there's connotations to that, but it's beefier. They go harder, they go heavier. They definitely went for a bigger sound, and they weren't afraid to really just sort of swing for the fences, and you can hear that in what they do. I was really bothered by this one review. Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely going to interview Gungire at some point, and I would love to interview Bridear at some point. Um, yeah, both of these bands, like, I think they're awesome. And I did listen to Hanabi's Reborn Superstar. Um, but for me, I prefer Gangire. Um, Nana's vocals, Nana's delivery, and her lyrics. Um, yeah, that's me. Um, I like Hanabi. I like him enough. And I definitely wish them the best, and I think they're doing an awesome job. But as far as what I relate to, what I connect with, is Gangire. So, um, but in the end, right? To each his own. I mean, your mileage does vary depending upon like what you're into. So, but I am absolutely down to interview them both. Um, I'm gonna see what I can do. I mean, I am going to another show of theirs in September 7th. It'll be Saki, Lonesome Blue, and Bridear. And because there are three performers, maybe it's possible, because there's less on their shoulders to carry the whole show. Maybe I can get in something with them, even if it's just like 10 minutes, right? Um, but yeah, Bridear is definitely a band that I would love to connect with. Um, Gangire is a band that I will get closer with. I plan to do so, without seeming creepy or or stalkery. Um, but I definitely, yeah, no, I think they're incredible. Um, Gungire is definitely a band that I would love to take to the States with me as well. Like Hades is one. Um, I would love for Saiseiga to be there. I would love for Gangire to be there. I mean, there's a handful of bands. Um, but we'll see what happens. I mean, we are still a fledgling little YouTube channel with just under 3,300 subscribers, and we've done some good stuff. In the world of Bandmade and in the world of Tokyo club scenes. The editing I should have done a little bit this weekend because I had time and I stayed home and there were no shows. But I just rested a lot because I do want my foot to heal, and my body was just like, give it a rest. So they will be coming. There is still the next interview will be Sara and Whiskey Dust. For those who don't know or maybe forgot, tomorrow, so it's going to be in less than 12 hours. Yeah, in less than 12 hours, you have the live stream for Whiskey Dust and Jack Nove. So if you can, please watch them, depending upon your hour and your schedule. But there is a notification up, I believe, on our community page. Yeah, so there is that. And then of course there's the Bandmate show. Yeah, no, this was taking a while. But next Friday, or this coming Saturday, will be Bandmade in Kanagawa. So I'll be going to that hall tour show. And actually, I have a spare ticket. So anybody who wants to go, please let me know. Drop a comment and then we can connect. But there is a ticket available. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of stuff to be done. There's still Nekomeshi 222. There is still the Stereo Gang, who I did interview back in May. So there's stuff backed up. I still have a Hades one too. It was a 1-year reunion, but that was a while ago. Yeah, I think I'm starting to run out of excuses. So, There is actually a short one, an old one that's almost a year old now, and that is with Electric Mama. And then, yeah, there's stuff. Okay, guys. Let's see. What are the comments here you guys have? Yeah, for me, Ignite and Brave New World, Starlight, incredible stuff. Yeah, I would also say, what am I a fan of? Thread of Light is Thread of the Light is an awesome song. And then I actually, excuse me, air's been bad, but I actually really like Mirror and Awakers off of Exposure Emotions. I don't know if that's anybody's favorites, but they played that last year at their one man, the day before Yokohama Arena, and for Bandmate, and loved it, loved it. So it was great. Yeah, I just both albums, just to sort of reiterate and then to kind of cap off, is with Gungire, Incitement, and then Bridear, Born Again. I think lyrically they've got incredible stuff. Melodically, there's both incredible stuff. The difference in style does nothing to take away from either one of them. I love both equally in different ways. I am really just blown away with what Bridear has done to really just sort of amp things up. But I am also definitely in love with the stripped down, just punch in the gut, concrete, just like raw, rough quality of Gangire and the way that they deliver things. I like Hagane's EP too. And then Mana Diagram. There's a lot of stuff out there. Planet of Metal, as some of you guys mentioned, for Asterism. But these two albums that dropped back to back, yeah, these two have gotten me the most all year out of all the things that I've heard that's dropped. And to be honest, even with Bandmate, like I like the stuff that's come out. Like Bestie was probably one of my favorite ones. I love the collaboration song between Bandmate and with The Warning. But these two albums and the songs on it, they've definitely captured me and they resonate with me a lot. So highly, highly recommended. There is not any plan, but I do intend to buy a fair number of CDs from them and then try to ship them over to people. So yeah, Michael, if you are interested and anybody else who's interested, don't comment in the chat, comment in the actual comments, and let me know which CDs you would want to hear, not hear, which CDs you would want to buy, because then I can add you to the list and then try to figure things out in terms of getting those to you. But I definitely love, yeah, I sort of love helping both bands and fans, and I think that's something that I've always really thrived on, whether it be with Bandmate and doing like simple Photoshop stuff and graphics, or providing merch, or just relaying messages, just doing what I can. So yeah, write in the comments if you guys would like any Gangiri CDs, which ones, how many, and I'll see what I can do. Yeah, I think that's that. So, are there any questions? I guess my only questions to you is for Hagane. Any questions about either album? Or if you have heard both albums, or if you heard one of the albums, what was your take on it? And maybe how you would break it down? Yeah, I really try to focus on just Japanese bands because I think one of the things with me is that I've mentioned before, I try to build relationships with bands and I try to promote these bands here because there are any number of bands you can promote anywhere. There are any number of bands in any number of countries who are amazing, but there's only so much time and effort and energy that you have yourself. So I've decided to sort of keep myself on a strict diet of Japanese music. Um, yeah, and I don't think in any way that that takes away. um, but I do have sort of my own personal mission statement. Um, Other people, I mean, you can delve and dig into any other stuff, but yeah. What sort of variety are you talking about, Charles? What kind of variety would you want? Because I think their goal was to be. Oh, thanks, man. No, I haven't heard of toe. Well, I've heard of toe, but only like foot. Like, uh, I have not. I think I vaguely saw a little conversation going on. Um, yeah, I'm still curious what sort of variety you would want. I don't think there necessarily needs to be. I think the songs they did was uh I guess if they again like I think their intent was to just be make a hard hitting heavy metal album that was sort of brash and bombastic and big. Um, the closest to something like a ballad would have been Empty Mind, but even that like they just maybe it started off that way. You know, maybe Born Again and Empty Mind started off more as a ballad, but it's kind of like Help from John Lennon, Beatles. When he first introduced it, it was an acoustic, and then I mean they could have, but I think when you have a song, when you have an album that's only 10 songs deep, um, they decided not to sort of delve and like do other stuff. I think they wanted to send a message, a strong message, which I think they did. Um, yeah, as much as I love, you know, a prog song like Brave New World, one of my favorites, and Starlight again is just gorgeous to me. I don't think that was their intent. No, Toe. So are you saying you want me to check it out? Japanese toe? If I look up Japanese toe, I'm afraid I'm just gonna see a lot of Japanese people's toes and toe. Oh, they've got quite a bit of views, so they're not actually like a small band. 3.8 million views from 2 years ago. Hmm. Okay. I mean, I guess I can check them out later. Um, I'll keep the tab open, so they know that it's there. Yeah. One of the other things I really like it when Nana raps. She's I don't know. She's got this delivery. I just love. There's a song called "Nothing in My Hands." I think it's track four. Hmm. Well, what's your favorite album, Charles? Math rock. I'm not big on math rock. Uh, yeah, I'm not big on math rock. I mean, it's fine. I'll check it out. So yeah. Um, what else is going on? Um, it's hard to say. I mean, you can always kind of conjecture, but I mean, it's hard to argue with those albums. Um, yeah, I mean, those are both great albums from Bridear. Yeah, I don't know what my favorite is. I mean, hmm, yeah, I'll have to think about that with Bridear. Some really good stuff. Um, yeah, I guess we can just open this up a little bit. Um, but the thing is, with Masaki leaving, I mean, it's kind of like, I mean, every person, every songwriter that comes into a band and writes songs for that band, it changes everything. I mean, that's like the difference between David Lee Roth and Sammy Hagar with Van Halen. I mean, they became very different bands, which is why you have sort of Van Halen and Van Hagar. Um, I love both, to be honest, because I was still young and I wasn't like oh my God, it's only David Lee Roth, and it's like and again, I'm a sucker for melody, and I think that Sammy Hagar is great with that. Um, but yeah, I mean, maybe she did, but it's I don't think her her making use of melody necessarily like carried over to Ayumi and Moa's songwriting. I mean that's really ultimately what they choose to do, and it's very sort of ebb and flow, kind of go with where it goes, and you're affected by different things, influenced by different things at different times, different bands, and um, but I know like with Kimmy, like she's like hardcore into like loving music, sharing music. She's definitely a student of metal, and when you look at sort of the membership videos that she's posted, different things, you can definitely see that she takes her time, and I think the band in general they take their time and they really put a lot of thought into what they create. Um, yeah, I definitely love um, Bridear for any number of reasons, but they absolutely killed it last week, and man, I really hope like as they do this tour and they go to different places and really promote this album that it'll just get them bigger and bigger. How big? Who knows? And who knows how big the girls themselves want to get? Because sometimes when you get bigger, there are certain sacrifices you make. Because even like going back to Bandmade, there's a sacrifice you make when you're doing collaborations. Some people are down with it, some people aren't. Um, but you do compromise a bit of your musical vision in order to accommodate for accomplishing certain things. And whether it be the management or whether it be the members themselves deciding upon this, like doing, songs for anime, um, there's a sacrifice. Like there's this. Um, I don't necessarily want to say that it's tainted, but you make choices, and those choices will dictate, I think, the path you start walking on and your trajectory. So, um, one of the things that I've realized as I've been talking to a lot of different bands and interacting with different bands is that they have different goals, and they don't necessarily want to like dominate the world. They don't necessarily want to be like a world touring band, although they do want to like travel and go to different countries. I don't think people quite have um, Miku's ambition, because very few people do the way that she does, unless you're like goal is to be president of the world. So yeah, it'd be great. Like the venue. I mean, according to online, Daikanyama unit was a capacity of 600 last week, but it wasn't sold out. So that was unfortunate. I feel like they should have, but I don't know what happened. Um, yeah, but I love them, and I think that's what matters. For those of you that do love Bridear as well, I hope you guys continue to support them and really get the word out there. Um, you don't have to like every song, you know, off of every album, but help support them with the songs that you do love. And the same for Gungire. I don't know if Gungire will be for everybody. Um, but even for me, for someone who's not as big into like metalcore and death voice as much as some other people are, for me, like there's still something about their songs. Um, yeah, there's something very soulful about them. Something very honest and real about Gangire that just it moves me, and I'm very swayed by them. So check out more of them, and if you do like Nana's vocals, you can check out her previous band, Re Asterisk. Re Asterisk. Gangire and Dragdown. Yeah, I don't know the next time that the two of them will be doing anything. I mean, um, yeah, yeah, maybe separately, but yeah, you got to check them out. It's fun. It's fun, man, and um, yeah, Gangire puts on a show like live. Just it gets wild. A lot of crowd surfing, moshing going on, some good stuff. Um, but yeah, I mean, with different bands, you know, like some people are fine just being in Japan. They don't feel this need to necessarily go out to. Um, Thank you, Jim. I listened to the song Path live from 11 years. Path. This is Toe. Is this Toe or this is somebody else? Who are we talking? Oh, that would be a show. Um, a vocal duet with Saiki and Remy. Sorry, I'm okay. I don't see Path with Toe. But I'll definitely check them out, and if I like them, then I'll share some words about them. Um, but yeah, Saiseiga will be performing with Doll Parts. This is August 3rd, and I do plan on going. Yeah, I do plan on going to that show. So. Yeah, I'm not. I don't like things that are too technical. I don't like things when they're too complicated. I don't mind craftsmanship. I don't mind like details, but I like things simple. Like it has to resonate with me on a very like um yeah, Dalsai. Bridear, Little Lilith. I don't know, but they're very close. Um yeah, they're very close. Bridear and Little Lilith. Or at least Lily. I'm not sure about the rest. Remy from Glim Spanky, she's got great vocals. Yeah. I mean, I guess they could mesh, but I think Remy seems more like a solo vocalist when you hear her sing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sorry, I will check out Steven, Jim Morrison. I'll check out Toe. Um, but it is 12, and I probably should get going because I've got kind of a big day at work. I have a little event I have to do. I still have to finish stuff for that. So I don't know if I'm gonna sleep early and get up early, or if I'm going to sleep late and get up early-ish. But yeah, um, it's always nice. It's always nice. Even the people that are here for like a couple weeks or so, like it's incredible stuff. Yeah. Let's see. Is there anything here that's really worth answering? Fate Gear. I did see the latest Fate Gear MV. It was okay. It was okay. Yeah. Let's see here. Is there anything else? No, not quite. Yeah. So, Asterism did finish. I don't know if they still have a day left or a day or two, but Asterism did play at the Anime Expo in LA, if I'm not mistaken. Um, they were in the States the past few days. So if you check out Halka and Asterism, and like all of them, their Twitters or their Instagram, like you'll see photos and videos of that. But yeah. All right, let's wrap this up. All three of these are great. Yeah, all three of these are great. I definitely recommend all of them. But if you're not sure, check them out on streaming first. You know, and then maybe you'll want to buy them at some point if you can. And then Born Again, same thing. I mean, it works for me like a lot. But whether it works for you, you gotta find out for yourself. That's really what it comes down to. But Bridear, they are out for some blood. And yeah. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Okay. Alright, guys. I'll do what I can to support these bands and to help you guys out as well. Thank you guys for just, yeah, staying with me. Not as many people, I guess, interested in a review of Gungire and Bridear as I had wanted, but hey, it is what it is. Little by little. Alright, guys, I hope you enjoy the weekend and more stuff to come in the future. So thank you so much, and I will see you again when I see you. Take care, guys. Bye.